I thought I would do a video. I haven't done a video in a few days. That's okay. That's all right. I mean, I'll do a video in a week or in a month. I don't know, whenever I get the feeling. I work on a painting. The videos are a little bit like making a painting. I get an impulse. And we all have been inculcated with the atrocity committed in Paris. Who committed that? Well, you know, the usual suspects are rolled out. And I'm going to, this particular comment I'm going to make is in regard to the idea that we're going to have a major war. I think that's so much hooey, because we have been in a war since 1938, before the Second World War, which is the war of fission against all life on this planet. Now, if people are still caught in the headlights of this, I guess he's a decent person, this AMTV this guy who runs AMTV, alternate media, they're going to keep you in the headlights of, okay, yeah, oh, the wars. There have been more wars in the last 70 years than in all the history of mankind. These wars, we are in a worldwide war. This has been going on, but the major war that we've been fighting is the fission war, the war against all life, not one country against another and one religion and the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews and the Buddhists and the whoever wants to get in on board in this, and they all come out like predictors. They want to predict that the next war is going to be this war. Well, how about looking at the war that we're in? We're in the war to stay alive against nuclear radiation, the nuclides, the radionuclides that come out of all the nuclear plants on this planet. We are in a war to defend ourselves, not just ourselves, but all of life on this planet. We are in a world war. We have been in a world war since 1938, and even people that understand this, the nuclear disaster of Fukushima and what we're up against, are still thinking, oh, we're going to have like major destruction. In comparison to the destruction that's going on right under our noses, these are just blimps, the final nail in the coffin maybe. I don't know. What can I say? I find this outrageous. I want you to listen to this alternative media guy, and you know, they all come out and they want to be like the first to predict the next world war. How about getting up to current events? You know, look at 1938. Maybe you need to have a little retrospect and see the kind of war we're in. The reason I say 1938 is because nuclear fission was invented or understood in 1938 by two scientists, Strassmann Hahn, a Swiss guy, German guy, Austrian guy, who actually invented this lethal, ugly process that should not be on this planet. It doesn't exist anywhere in the universe. Nuclear fission is our brilliance, humanity's, not my brilliance. I'm not attaching myself to that. I'm fighting it, and we're in a world war against all life on this planet. But just listen to this guy for a minute, and I'm going to highlight him because he's a nice guy. He's talking about, oh yeah, they're going to fight a war. The next world war is about to happen.
And all of this feeds into a common narrative for war. This feeds into the war agenda. Again, the banks financing both sides of the war, just like they did in World War I and World War II. These powerful families that own the corporations, that own the politicians and the mainstream media as their mouthpiece, propel us into these very violent confrontations. You know, for all these people that have this bloodthirsty desire to go kill more people in the Middle East, I hope you want to fight on the front lines, because the next president, and we talked about this about a week ago, will inherit the greatest of all wars. And as a consequence, they're going to need more American support. They're going to need more rhetoric and nationalism, to the sound of trumpets, to galvanize.
Okay, you see his scenario here. Of course, he's right. That's great. You know, if you want to fight and kill somebody, sign up and be in the front lines. Take your family, like Gerald Celente has talked about this. If you want to fight a war, just pack up your family, get your government sponsorship, and go to Iraq and go to Iran and Syria and sit in the trenches with your family and fight the war. That's a good one. I like that. But what they all miss, this is what I'm on about, this is what my channel is about, is that we are in a world war. And it's not a bullet, but it's like a billion bullets a second, called nuclear, the radiation, the radionuclides, the exotic elements, cesium-137, plutonium, strontium, iodine 131, 132, 129, you name it. These are the bullets of the war that we're in. These are the bullets that are killing everything on this planet. And they want to come out and they look at the big picture, right? They look at the bullet. This guy, look at, he's stunned. He looks stunned. He is stunned because he's still caught up in the headlights of this oncoming catastrophe, the war. Well, you know what? It's going to be like, put us out of our fucking misery. That's what it's going to be, because we've been inundated with 400 nuclear plants and 250 research plants that are producing the toxic pollution that is killing everything. And since 1938, this monster was unleashed. And I just thought, the people, I talked to a friend of mine, and a person that is anti-nuclear was saying, oh, you know, I think they're going to do another war. Well, yeah, it's a footnote. The world war they're talking about with tanks and even nuclear explosions, these bombs, yeah, of course, if the nuclear bombs are dropped on everything, it's finished, it's over. But the war has been going on for the last 70, 80 years. This has been a world war, and it's a war against all of life on this planet. And I just picked this guy because he's just a poster child for the alternative media, and they all don't get it. They all still like to predict, like gold's going to go to $5 billion, and you're going to have this stock or that stock, and everything is going to be like functioning on some level. No, things aren't working. Things aren't working. It's not working. It's not working. Things aren't working. And the reason people don't seem to understand this is because they look at a bullet, a piece of lead, or now depleted uranium that's being fired, but there's like a trillion elements that are actually inundating our planet every second of every day with the releases from these plants. That's the war that we're in, the real war we're in. You want to listen to this guy some more?
As the American people to further this effort in this part of the world, which has only been caused as a result of the actions the United States has taken.
Yes, of course. And I'll cut it off here. It's okay. It's okay. He means well. And it's AMTV. Yeah, very good. You know, a person of conscience, obviously. But if you don't understand the principle of what it is we're in, the commercialization of war is what he's on. He's on about the fact that the Rothschilds and all the bankers that have funded wars on both sides, but the game has changed. People, this is no longer a game, because a game actually is based on the idea that you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then you start over again. But this game, will have the ultimate end, because if there is no life left on the planet, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You look like Mars. You look like some sort of, you know, desert landscape, and all this sort of blustering about how we understand the micro and macroeconomics and the political situations that are going on the planet, and the economies and all the things that are coming apart. Well, what's come apart over the last 80 years is that we are all complicit, people. We are all complicit. And I'm talking about the baby boomers. I'm not talking about people born in the 80s, 90s, and after. I'm talking about the people who allowed this to happen, that we would actually be complicit in allowing a cartel, a criminal syndicate, a criminal syndicate to actually put the final nail into the coffin of life on this planet. And, you know, if you want to go and leave the planet, good luck to you, because you're never going to get through the Van Allen belt. There is no technology, as far as I know, or anybody else knows, to get through this intense radiation belt outside of the Earth. So if you think, if you're an oligarch or somebody that thinks you're on the winning team, there's another story. There's another story behind this, and you're not going to get off this planet. And I suppose you're going to get all the fun and joy that you can out of the last moments, your last moments of life, you know, whatever that means, what you get. And, you know, kiss your ass goodbye. It's strange love. The, you know, Captain Kangaroo on the bomb going down on his target. You know, yeehaw, slim pickings. And yeah, look at that movie. That was a great movie. I mean, it predicted, and this guy's predictions are pathetic, totally pathetic, because he's missed the war we've been in for the last 75 or 80 years.